Or should I do my knee bag?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Grandmother Project presents Pearls and Pocketbooks. My name is Melanie Brazil, and I am the creator of the Grandmother Project, and I'm going to be the host of this new monthly interactive web experience featuring Black grandmothers giving pearls of wisdom on love, life, and everything in between. I am so very excited because today I am joined by all 6 grandmothers of the Grandmother Project Season 1. I could not be any more thrilled. We are just truly blessed and honored to have all 6 of these amazing grandmothers with us, and we cannot wait for this experience to learn pearls of wisdom on Black love. So without further ado, I am going to introduce our grandmothers. Mrs. Beverly Nana Struthers is the proud grandmother of Destiny Struthers. Her interests include gardening, travel, spending time with family. Let's check out one of our favorite moments of her and her granddaughter Destiny from the project. Here we go.
Just one bar.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night.
That's enough.
Oh, I love that clip. I love that clip. Oh my goodness. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Mrs. Beverly Nana Struthers. All right. She's connected. Hi, how are you doing, Nana?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you.
Hi, how have you been during this time?
I've been doing good, really good.
Good. We are just pleased to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait.
Okay.
Right. Well, our next grandmother is an avid traveler, pet lover, Bulls fan, and pop culture enthusiast. She is dedicated to her 2 daughters, 3 grandchildren, and new great-grandson. She is also the grandmother of my dear friend, Christiana Ray Colon. Let's check out one of their best moments from the project. Here we go.
Choose to get married?
Okay. Twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
each time.
The first time was really about love, but again, we were so young till we didn't have the know-it-all to work on it to make it last. We didn't know the things that we know today. And that's really truly why people say you're too young. You just don't know.
All right. It is my honor to introduce you all to Mrs. Diane Grandma Allen.
Good evening.
Uh-oh, I think we got you on mute, Grandma Allen.
There we go.
How have you been?
Right. Okay. I've been just great. You know, I made it through.
That's
As my daughter said on my 77th birthday last month, we made it to 77, and actually thinking about it, for me, that was really an accomplishment because, as we know, we've all been through a lot, and so I'm a survivor. So really happy to be here. This is like a very special night. It's like my night out. I had got a way to get out of the house for a minute. I'm with my daughter and granddaughter, so I'm celebrating.
You and thank you. You put that so well. We really have. We've all been through a lot, and we are just so blessed and happy to have you here. So thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you.
Yes. All right, moving right along. Our next grandmother is a devoted mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. She is a travel enthusiast, avid reader, and lover of The Price is Right. She has been a member of Resurrection Lutheran Church for over 4 decades, participating in the church's school board, bowling league, and line dancing. And prior to the pandemic, you could catch her playing bridge all around the South suburbs. She's a retired school librarian with the Chicago Public Schools, and she is my grandmother. I am pleased to introduce you to Mrs. Claire Guy-Range. Let's check out a clip from the project. Still hang out with their single friends?
A lot of times they don't because they feel that you want their husbands. And they don't want you that close because they feel that their husband might kind of look at you. So they don't like that too much. But I would say with your friend, I mean, you all could do things out, not together with him. I think that, you all could do things on your own, like go to wherever you want to go. You all can get that together, and just the two of you and your other friends. You can be like that.
All right. Yay, Gia. How are you, Gia?
I'm good. I'm good.
Turn your camera on, Gia. Turn that little icon on. Next to mute at the bottom. You see it?
I have it.
There you're looking
I'm good. I'm very good.
Have you been watching any new exciting TV shows during the...
Oh, yes. We've been watching a lot of things from, Netflix.
Oh,
And Zoom, the Amazon Prime and all of those things. We've been looking at a lot of things on the movies.
oh, that's awesome. Well, Gia, I'm so thrilled that you're here. You're looking good, and it's so good to see you, as always.
Oh, thank you.
You. All right, well, we're going to keep going introducing these grandmothers. Our next grandmother is the proud grandmother of Kaylin Jacobs. Her interests include travel, golf, and wellness. And when she was 43, she decided to go back to school and pursue her lifelong dream of being a nurse. She worked as a nurse for 10 years at Northwestern's Rehabilitation Institute before retiring. Here's one of our favorite moments of her and her granddaughter, Kaylin, from the project.
Proud of me?
Yes,
Like,
I am.
this-
Would like to have you have a different hairdo. But yeah, I am proud of you.
I know the film thing was hard, like, 'cause I know I was dead set on medicine, but
I told them.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, we love that clip. Grandma Alcorn. Grandma Alcorn, it's such a pleasure to have you here with us. Let's see. There you are. Okay, unmute yourself, Grandma Alcorn. Grandma Alcorn, how are you? Uh-oh, you muted again. Push it one more time. Push that microphone. You're on mute.
All right. Is it okay now?
Okay, how have you been?
I've been really good. I can't complain. Shut in because of the virus. Can't do anything, can't go any place except to the doctor's office and to the grocery store. But other than that, I'm doing good.
Well,
I'm not major.
we're so glad that you could join us. Thank you so much. All right, you're looking good.
Thank you.
We're going to continue to introduce our grandmothers here. Our next guest is the proud grandmother of Jessica and Jayla Ferguson, who were featured in the project. She is a passionate educator. She began her teaching career as a school secretary during the height of desegregation in the Evanston school system. She went on to become a third grade teacher and later earned a PhD in psychology and counseling. Let's watch this great clip of her and her granddaughters from the project.
When I was younger, yes, I I sought medical advice when there was something wrong. You know, if I had a toothache, then I go to the dentist. If I have some other issue, I'll go to the doctor. But as I got older, I think about my family and that it's really important for me to take as good a care of myself as I can, because I owe that to you guys and to Grandpa. I owe that. If I just let my health go, then I'm not really serving you well by doing that.
All right. Wow, that's one of my favorite clips. I am so pleased to introduce you all to Dr. Essie M. Grandma Harris. Grandma Harris, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's so good to have you here. We love that fireplace. That looks really cozy.
Oh, it is. It is sometimes when I need a little warmth. You know, can't get it from anybody else. I go to the fireplace. But you know, also, I just want to say it's so good seeing the other grandmothers. I had certain pictures in my mind of who they were, but it was great to see them again today.
Well, we are pleased to have all of you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
That's amazing. Our next grandmother, last but certainly not least, this next grandmother was born in Canton, Mississippi, and came to Chicago when she was just 6 years old. She is a proud member of Pleasant Gift Missionary Baptist Church, where her husband, the late Howard Sanders Nichols, pastored for 25 years. Affectionately known as Sookie by her family, she is a devoted mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother who continues to lead her family by faith. Let's watch this amazing clip of Mrs. Ruth Earl Hudson Sookie Nichols. Here we go.
How have you navigated through the storms of life?
My thing is I just look to God when something happens. I just know He know all about it, and it's already He know about it, and He's prepared to take care of it. He just wants you to have confidence in Him and know that He will. And that's what I do. I just turn over to Him. When you turn over to God, just let it go. He'll take care of it.
Amen. Yes, He will. How are you doing, Sookie?
I'm doing just great, and just a wonderful thing to be on your program. Just thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And I have to tell you, we have gotten more compliments about your hats.
I don't know how many I have. That's just how many hats I have.
You are looking great. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're so wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you all for being here. So now we can have everyone, everyone out there in Zoom land, give these women a virtual applause. We'll have you turn, all of you turn your cameras on. These are the women, all 6 mothers of the Grandmother Project. You're so thrilled. And so we're going to get into this discussion now. All right, this is the moment that everybody's been waiting for. You all gave so many good gems in the project that we had to come back for more. Okay, so as you know, we're talking about the beautiful, complex, and evolving force that is Black love. And I'll say this, as a millennial, it's as though dating was a lot more straightforward back in the day than it is now. Many of us, we're dealing with dating apps and we're going on countless dates and still not really finding that person. So what qualities, in your expert opinion, what qualities should we be looking for in a mate? Anybody want to jump in on that?
Someone who is very dependable. You want a mate who is dependable, hardworking, thoughtful, caring, loving, and devoted to his family.
That's right. Amen. Anybody else?
I'd like to also say that I find a sense of humor is very important. If you don't have that in a relationship, it's hard to navigate without. I mean, I need somebody to make me laugh and who, can, give it back as well. So a sense of humor for me is very important.
Absolutely.
Can I jump in, Melanie, and say, give some thoughts on that? With the coming of the cell phones and social media, Facebook, all of those things, the young people now who are out on the dating scene have not had the kinds of experience that we have had as older people with face-to-face conversations. You can't really see an expression on a person's face if you're meeting them for the first time on a social media platform. You don't know how he's reacting to you, or we have no idea. Another thing that I'd say, once you start to say, if you meet the young man, talk about his family with him. Ask him about his mother. Think about how he feels about his mother. If he has sisters, disengage him in conversation. You got to be the one nowadays to be the conversationalist. You can't just listen and not have any input at all. You might be able to find out some things, but it'll never be as easy as it was when we were younger.
Wow. Thank you for those answers. I think that those were just great qualities, And so, so my next question then is that, all right, so how did you ultimately know that your husband was the one? Was it
when I found out that my first husband was not the one, and then very seriously, I was married, living in Evanston. I had devoted myself to him. He was the star, and he never went places with me. He didn't go to visit my friends. He didn't like visiting with my family, so I had to go every place with him. But they weren't my friends, they were his. And then after I met my present husband, Charles, I had already identified what my problem was in that first relationship. I was waiting for somebody else to bring me happiness, when really I should have been bringing myself happiness. I met Charles, and we've been married for 47 years now. And
wow,
so,
blessing.
yeah.
Want to weigh in on that? That is such a great, sometimes it does take that other turn so you can see what is meant for you. Is there anybody else that wants to weigh in on how they knew that their partner was the one and how they got to that stage?
Well, my husband, my aunt, if she knew some pretty girls, and she told my husband, I know just the one, and I'm going to take you to meet her today. So I had a little part-time job. I'd been in college for 2 years, and it was just like, when I saw him as I started down the street to where I lived, I saw him get out of the car, and I saw my aunt get out of the car. So she must have told him, here he comes down the street. And as we met up, we were smiling in each other's face, but to me, we were in love at first sight. And he and I were married for over 63 years. When he died, we got married at 18 years old.
Wow.
I'll love him through eternity. That's just how much I love my husband.
That is so powerful and so beautiful. And I got to tell you, that's what we all want, And so just hearing that just brings a smile to my face, you know. So this next question then is about that. This next question is about longevity. One of our viewers, Lonnie, wants to know, what is the key to longevity in a relationship?
I think trust, you must have that there. You need trust. You need commitment. You also need the commitment part of it, the trust and respect. Respect. If I can respect my man as a man, and I know that he respects me, and we show each other respect, that's probably the most three important qualities that I found in making my relationship with my second husband work. And then communication. Communication, you have to be able to talk and express yourselves to each other. If not, you know, what have you got there? He'll go and talk to somebody else, you know, and you'll just be sitting there. So you got to communicate.
Amen to that. And I know, go ahead.
I wanted to say that I think that all of the grandmothers so far, I agree with them. And you have to give and you have to forgive, and also with your husbands. I mean, for both, the husband and the wife, they have to forgive and keep going. And don't let any little thing stop your marriage. Because a lot of times, something small, people will say, well, I'm not going to be bothered anymore. No, don't do that. Wait and see if you can do something to get your marriage going again. And usually you can. So try to hang in there and don't give up on the first little thing. Don't give up. Keep going and wait a while and see how things work out. After a few times, you know, it'll work out. If it doesn't after a few times, then maybe it's not for you. But most of the time, it will work out. So just give it a chance and try it again with the same person.
Well, I think that understanding is one of the most important things that a husband and wife should have. And if you don't have understanding of what the other person is thinking or whatever, go there, say, I want to talk to you. You know, I'm wondering, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And then you sit there and talk and not argue. See, the main thing people get off into is arguing. And you're not going to get any kind of understanding like that. And so the best thing to do is if you have something you're concerned about, and I would walk to tell my husband, I said, look, let's talk about this because I have a question about it. And that is one of the most things that I found is to get a good understanding about your situation or what's going on or something you do not like. And sit down and talk and not argue, because when you get to arguing, next thing you might end up battling, fighting one another. So the best thing to do, you know, is let them know, you know, let's sit down and talk this out.
That's right. You know, I'm just really thrilled. All of you all are giving such great feedback. And, you know, so this next question I wanted to ask, you know, as we're talking about things that you need, I know, Sookie, you were a first lady for many years.
Yes, I loved it.
Can you talk about the role of faith in a relationship, or the role that faith plays in a relationship?
Yes. Well, it's very important that you're on the same page. You know, so many of us women marry a man and he doesn't go to church at all. And you go to church, and if you like to go to church, and he'll tell you, well, I don't like this because you always going to church. You know, you always have, you know, some kind of a problem because of that. But you see, my husband was a Christian. You know, we both joined church when we were children. And so when we got married, he was already a Christian, but he wasn't into church as much as I was. But, you know, I had other people, such as my pastor and members of the church, they encouraged him to come. And my uncle's wife said to him, Howard, you need to come to church. We need you. And my uncle said, we need you, Howard. We need you to come and help us with the church. And guess what? You know, they helped me to draw him into the church. They encouraged him. So a lot of people don't need to be fussed at about going to church. They need to be encouraged to go to church. And so that's what happened with my husband. Once he got into church, he became he was over the BTU, he was over the Sunday school. He was the pastor got him to be, well, we didn't have assistant, he didn't call him assistant pastor, but he was one of the main ministers that helped him. And he taught him about being a pastor and ended up being the pastor of Pleasant Hill Missionary Baptist Church.
That is.
Somebody told me that we knew you was gonna be a pastor's wife, or minister's wife. But I always tried to carry myself that way. You know, even as a young woman, I obeyed my parents, you know, and tried to do the right thing.
That's right. That's really wonderful. And you know, and I think it really boils down to that common interest that you all are talking about, being on the same page. You know, so now I have another question, and one of our viewers wants to know, so feel free to jump in here and make sure you're not on mute. I think I accidentally might have muted some of the grandmothers, so just double check. I'm sorry about that. So was it a straightforward path? Did you all have other boyfriends before you married your husband? Were you allowed to date? Did you have other boyfriends before you found Mr. Right that you feel comfortable enough telling us about?
Anybody else? Well, I had, go ahead, I'm someone else because I've been running my mouth.
Oh, Grandma Alcorn. Okay, there we go.
Should I speak?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I'm with a second husband. My first husband died after we were married 7 years. We had 2 daughters, and he died. So I was a widow for like 22 years. And then actually the husband who I am presently married to, I met him years before. First, I met him. He and my first husband worked together, and I saw him 2 times before my husband died, and then about 4 or 5 years later, I was out playing golf, and this man walked up to me and said, you know, he said he was looking at my red slacks I had on, and I was trying to put my golf clubs in my car. So he walks up and he started talking to me, and he asked me my name. And then when I looked at him, I got a good look at him, I recognized him. And I said, you know, you should know my name. And he said, what do you mean? I said, you know me. I said, you've met me before. And he said, I said, you knew my husband. Well, when I said that, he stepped back. So, and he looked at me, and my first husband's name was Raymond. And he said, then he recognized me. He said, are you raised widow? And I said, yes. But it had been like maybe 10 or 15 years seeing each other. So then he said, so then when he realized that who I was and that my husband was deceased, then he stepped back up and started talking again. He asked, could he come and visit with me? So I told him, I said, well, I'm having a birthday next weekend. I'm giving myself a birthday party. Why not come to the party? So he said, well, I'm going to New Orleans, but I'm coming back a day early so I can come to your party. So we came to the party. We had a good time. He met all my friends. I met his friends, and we dated 22 years. And so I had decided that I would not remarry until my kids were grown and gone. And that's what I did. Once my kids were grown and they graduated from college and they were out, they were working. So then he and I got married, and we've been married now for 22 years. And But going back to what everyone else said, you have to have respect for each other. You have to enjoy each other's company. And you have to feel that the person really care about you and faithful to you. You know, I think being faithful is most important. And his father was a minister, so he was used to going to church, and he was more into going to church than I was. And right to today, we still go to church. And because of the virus, we're having, you know, services on Zoom now. But respect, communications, mutual enjoyment, fun, enjoying family. I think all those things are so important.
Yes. Is there anyone that, wow, what a story, Grandma Alcorn. But you know what? I think that that's very encouraging. You know what I mean? For a lot of people, and we'll kind of skip around. I want to ask the grandmothers, you know, can you talk? Do you think that a person can find more than one soulmate? Can there be second chances at love? Is there anybody that wants to speak to that? Having more than one soulmate or finding love again? People that are maybe they, you know, they separated or they're divorced and now they want love. Can anyone speak to that?
Oh, I think that absolutely you can. This is Essie. My experience was one that I know that in my first marriage I was in love, but I refused to continue to identify myself through my first husband. I didn't have an identity when I was with him, but then after I left him and moved back to Chicago, I met my present husband at a bachelor party that my girlfriend who lived down the street from my mother, my girlfriend called me, she saw my car there. She called me and asked me if I would go to the bachelor party. And I said, sure, may as well. And went to the bachelor party. And guess who I met at the bachelor party? And it was really interesting. This guy came over to me, he was polite. And he asked me if I wanted to dance. And, you know, I was kind of nonchalant at that point. And so I had just started smoking. And I said, no, I don't want to dance because I don't have anybody to hold my cigarettes. And he said, I tell you what, why don't you just put them down in my pocket? And I thought, my goodness, that was cute, that was timely. And it just said something about him, like he wasn't willing to give up right then. I can't think of anything else I would have asked him, maybe I should have, I don't know. But you can find love again in all of the oddest places, because I went to that party not expecting to bring home a future husband.
Wow, what a story. Oh my goodness, there's hope. There is hope out there, you know. So next question. So, you know, and I would love for everybody to weigh in on this, because I'll say this. I think our culture tends to idolize youth and being young, and especially as a woman, right? We get told the young better and all of that. I think that there's something really beautiful that comes with age. There's a wisdom and a beauty that comes as we age that we can embrace. And so I want to know, what is one way that love and relationships improve with time? What is one thing that has improved with age for you all? Looks like Nana has something.
Well, I was trying to think of something, but I think with age, it has taught me to slow down, don't be in such of a hurry, and just appreciate the things that, well, I've only been married once, so, and he's still with me, so I appreciate him and I appreciate the things he does for me, Like when we're sitting watching TV and he'll get up and he know if he gets something for himself, he'll have to bring me the same thing, like a popsicle. I like the fruit ones, but and then I think that's nice, you know. So
That's wonderful. Slowing down. Thank you for that, Nana. Let's hear from everybody. You know, what has gotten better with age? What has gotten better with age? Improve something that's.
Well, I would like to say that when my husband retired, oh, we had a fantastic time. We get up in the morning and have breakfast. That was the only meal we ate at home. And we would leave and we go, walking, we visit some of the members. And then we eat lunch. After eating lunch, we go to a movie downtown. And after that, we'd have dinner down there. So we'd be gone all day. The only meal we ate at home was breakfast. And we just enjoyed each other so much. We just did the things that we couldn't do when the children were home. Everybody was away from home. We had no children in the home. And we just enjoyed each other tremendously. And then, that I have those wonderful memories now that he's gone. I love him. Like I say, I love my husband through eternity. He was such a magnificent father and husband and pastor. He was just a magnificent man, and I'll never forget him.
That's so beautiful. Anybody else want to jump in on this? Getting better with age. What has gotten better with you? And it could be about your relationship, or it could even be just you, because self-love is part of this too. Black love isn't just about being with a mate. It's about how we feel about ourselves. So what has been something that you found beautiful about yourself as you have aged?
Well, one thing I can say, I taught my children, you must love yourself first. Otherwise, you will not know how to love anybody or anyone else. So I've taught my children that you must love yourself and God above all.
Amen.
I think above everything, mutual respect, dependability, all those things are really, really important. And you each should bring something different to the table. We both like to cook. We both like working in the yard. We love traveling. We love cruises. We've been on 22 cruises. And we both love the children. I think all my kids love him better than they love me. But we like doing things together, and we get along quite well together. Now he has his own TV, I have mine, because we both like watching different things on TV. So that works, because we're not arguing over what we're gonna look at on TV. But I mean, it's just mutual respect, understanding each other, and caring about each other, and making sure you work your finances out. Finances can be a really huge problem. If you can work that out, come to a good solution on how to manage your finances and your personal friends, how well, you can, you've got a nice man when all your friends love your husband, and he get along with the kids. The kids is always going to his defense before they come, defend me. But it's just enjoying doing things together. I think that's so important, and especially now. And sometimes it scares me to death that he might die and leave me behind. And that's really scary right now. And trying to keep him healthy and keep him from shelving snow. He's 88 years old and he's still out shovels. So I had to hide the shovels. So he called all the kids complaining that I hid the shovels. They good. They totally agree with me.
That's right. Hide that shovel, keep it hidden. We need to.
Yes, make sure you do that, because we have so many men who've died from shoveling snow, and And his age, 88 years old. Oh no, he should never, no more snow shoveling for him.
We've got some questions here that have come up. Some of these were submitted ahead of time when people registered. And so now we want to talk about, we know that marriage is not easy. So marriage, there are some ups, there are some downs. Can you talk about any obstacles that you overcome in your marriage? Is there anybody that's willing to talk about obstacles that you faced and how you overcame those obstacles? Especially those, I'm kind of winking at some people. We want to hear from everybody, but of course, share what you feel comfortable sharing, of course.
Anybody? Well, I could talk some more. When I first got married, my husband and I were 18 years old. So I found that there were older men that was influencing him to go out and, and leave me at home. And so it went on for a little while until I got tired. So one day I told him, I said, you know what? You go to work every day and I go to work every day. And on the weekend, instead of going out with them, we should be going out together. And he listened to me. He listened to me about that. And that's true. I mean, I'm working and we working together before we got married, we did a lot of talking and discussing about what kind of family we wanted and what we wanted. We wanted to buy a home and all the things we wanted to do, as a married couple. And so if we're gonna do all of this, we first got to have a good relationship. You get along, you understand one another. And if I'm going to work all the week and you're going to work, at least we should go out together on the weekend. I go with your friends.
Right.
And I got him to understand that because I had told him I wasn't going for it. And he understood that very well.
Is there anybody else that wants to talk to that?
Well, I agree with her because when I got married, my husband did not want to go with me. I went with friends, and and wherever he wanted to go, I went. And he was a golfer, and I went every place with him. But when it came time for me to say I want to go here, he didn't want to go. So his brother, I think I mentioned that to some of his family, and his brother talked to him and he said, hey man, he says, now you have to do some of the things that she wants to do also. So I guess he thought about it, and then he started doing the things that I wanted to do also, because I was always following him, but he never wanted to go with me. So after that, he started going with me and we started taking our children, and we really had a good time going places together. Every summer, I decided, well, let's see, next summer we're gonna go here. And so the next summer we planned for it, and we took the kids and we went wherever we wanted to go. And we went to just about every state in the country. We took our children and we went. And we really enjoyed each other. So, I mean, you have to do things together, I think, in order to get along.
Absolutely.
That's right. That is right. Now, was there anybody else that wanted to weigh in on that question?
Actually, Melanie, I just would like to add something. When I heard the description about how her husband really didn't want to go any place with her, that reminds me of what it was like with my first husband. And he never went. I mean, even when I go to visit my mother, if I went to a family outing, I think he went to one family outing with me. It was a family picnic. Everybody was gathered and we were sitting on the grass and people all around us. And I was sitting there because we didn't have anything to talk about, me and him. You know, I'm sitting with him. And so finally, I just started staring off, you know, looking sad. And I had never been a sad person. I was very outgoing before I met lots of friends and before I married him. Anyway, he accused me of staring at some guy who was sitting in the direction. And I'm thinking, you probably are the one who knows more about that than I do. But then when I met Charles, totally the opposite. We went everywhere together. He visited my friends, I visited his friends, his family, he visited my family. My mother fell in love with him. By the way, she never liked the first one. But my mother fell in love with him and my sisters fell in love with him. And so that experience with the first one sort of pushed me in the direction of finding someone who had a common interest in what I was doing, not as well as I had a common interest in what he was doing.
Wow, this is this is really just key, because these are things that we need to know, especially, you know, as we're trying to make these decisions. These are things that we need to be aware of. So, you know, thank you. There's another question we have here, which is, how do you, so say you are in a relationship, right? And you want to motivate your partner, inspire them. Maybe they're not doing what they need to do, but how do you do that without demeaning, belittling, or nagging them?
I think you can make suggestions and just say what you like. And most of the time they should come around, and, you know, you don't have to belittle them. Just tell them how you feel. If you feel better doing it one way, but I have to tell you, you don't have to be right all the time. So I'm just saying, but if you give them a little encouragement and try it, you know, you might like it too.
Yes, yes. Grandma Allen, did you have something?
I did, and I found that probably the longer you're into the relationship and you're discovering new things about him and yourself, you kind of learn how to bridge the gap there. You know, you just don't go right in and it just starts off right and it just goes and goes. You have to build up to that. So it takes time to learn your partner. It takes time for them to learn you. That's not an overnight thing. And I found the longer I worked at the relationship, the more I put into it, that usually worked well for me. You know, they would respond in kind, or if not, they would see that I was making the effort, and in some cases, they would try to meet that effort. You know, it works. It works if you work it. Let's put it like that. If you know how much you put into it, that's what you might get out of it if you're with the right person. And I think a few of us have been with the first one who definitely wasn't the right one. And then you go along and you meet the one that is like made for you. And those are the ones you revel in. And those are the ones that you remember. Because my second husband was that for me. And he's been gone for a few years now. And I've never really matched up or met anyone. You know why that is? Because he's set such a high level that I could find nobody else who could reach that level. So everybody else consequently was like a disappointment. He was a hard person to compare with. You know, somebody else came in and tried to do something. Oh, it wasn't enough. And so after all of these years of not having him, I don't even sweat it anymore. You know, I'm better in the position that I am now. And also having the memories and thoughts of what a man I did have and how much he meant to me and the family. And I don't want to make comparisons anymore because there's no one else there, you know. So that's what I learned. And it took a while. It took while to even realize that. But as I sit back and ponder it, and that's what we do now that we're at a certain age, you sit back and you think about it, and it just spells itself right on out. It comes to you and it gives you that answer that you might have thought about or pondered over. So I'm satisfied with life at this point.
That's
Yes, please. The more I did to make my husband happy, just forgot about myself, and did things to make him happy, the more he was doing things to make me happy. So I found that really does work. You do something to make your husband happy, and he'll turn around and do something to make you happy too. Most of them will. My husband did.
Yeah.
He did.
Well, I don't have any complaints other than the snow problem. But I loved before we got married, I've always loved going out. I love going out to eat, for dinner, for breakfast. A friend that we do this all the time. And then after we were married and I decided to go back at 48, I decided to go back to school. And so I went back to school. He was and by that time he had retired. He retired at 57. And so he did everything he could. I was working 12 hours shifts at the hospital. I went back to school, got a higher degree. And when I was back in school, it took me 3 years to complete that term. And he would iron uniforms for me, cook for me, and take the kids. We had our grandkids, and he would take them to school, pick them up while their parents were working. So we just always had a really, really good relationship, mutual relationship. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And now he was faithful. I didn't ever feel like he was out there really cheating on me, and that was a comfort. And I think by the time we got married, we were older. We weren't kids anymore. And so, and like I said, and traveling was a huge part of our marriage. And now we've slowed down, but we both like doing the same thing. We love having friends over, barbecues in the backyard, planting flowers, going to the flower farms. So I think all those things, he always remembers my birthday. He remembers all important dates, and we just take care of each other. And that's what it's all about now. It's just a comfortable lifestyle.
Yes. So this next question, and Gia, did you want to answer that question?
What?
Gia, did you have an answer for that question?
No, the only thing I wanted to say, it's hard to motivate men. And it's really hard, but maybe the younger men are more capable of motivating than the older men, because it's really hard to motivate them.
Yeah, well,
to do some of the things that you want to do, it's kind of hard.
Right. Well, this next question, this is a little bit different. So, because we're going to get into our Q&A, we're almost getting ready to wrap up. This has been so beautiful. So I just want to thank you all. This has been so incredibly precious. And I think Dr. Harris is going to join us. I think her camera might have gone out for a second, but this next question, what have you learned from your granddaughter's approach to love? Have you all learned anything from watching how this younger generation, how we do things? Is there anything that has inspired you by the way we're carrying on in love? And if you know, and we want to hear from everybody on this. So you gotta, this is, everybody has to weigh in to get the project with your granddaughters.
Well, I think it's hard for you guys. It's more easier for us because we didn't have to go through a lot of the things with men as you do. Because there's so many things that are going on with men now. And a lot of them are incarcerated. And a lot of them are on drugs. And a lot of them are not working. We didn't have that problem. So therefore, it was easier for women at our time to get a man than it is for you, because you have a lot of things to look at. I mean, you don't want anyone that's incarcerated. You don't want anyone that is on drugs. You don't want anyone that's not working or doesn't want a job. And so, you know, it's just hard.
Yeah. Well, that you all have learned from your granddaughters. Is there something that you know, let's hear from everybody. So Gia, thank you for that. You're right. It is definitely challenging for us, but we have hope. You know, they're not all there. There's
Yeah, that's right. You do. I agree. You do have hope. You got
watching your granddaughters, how we approach dating and love. What are your thoughts on that? Have you learned anything, any of you, from us?
Well, my stance, or from what I've learned from my granddaughter, is that, I don't know, she's so resilient and she does whatever she sets out to do. Nothing gets in her way. Now, when I was coming along, you know, jobs and, you know, do I have the right job and stay at the right job unless unless you get something that's much better. But with the young women of today, you know, they branch out, they move, they don't settle. Okay, they're much better at that than we were. If I could count the times in my lifetime that I just settled for things, or I did this because that was the best thing to do. I think the young women of today have that over us. They just go out there, they go get it. They don't find obstacles. They don't make obstacles. And I admire that so much. I mean, it's taught me so much. It's taught me at this age that you can do whatever you want to do. And I just love it. I'm not going to be doing too much more, but when I watch her, she's just an inspiration. She's gone far and beyond what I ever dreamed of for myself, and just watching her do it and make it happen, it's remarkable. And she is a phenomenal woman, and I love her so much for that.
That's beautiful. Wow. Anybody else? Let's hear from Grandma Alcorn. And
Okay, well, I have 4 granddaughters. The youngest is 23, the oldest is 28. I think Kaylin is 28 or 29. Can't remember. But anyway, I'm very, very extremely proud of all 4 girls. None of them are married yet. They date. And but they've all graduated from college. I have one granddaughter who went to Madagascar and joined the Peace Corps. She was there for 3 years. And now she's back home, getting ready to go to dental school. And all the girls are doing really well. Extreme. I'm proud of my daughters. I'm really proud of my granddaughters. And so far, they've not done anything that upset me and made me mad yet. But I'm just very, very proud. And they did pick up one thing, bad habit for me. I should say a good habit, traveling. I can't keep up with them because they're forever on airplanes flying all over the world. So, but they're all doing well. I'm very proud.
that's
and I learn a lot from them. When they come to my house, I have a little list for them to show me what to do on the computers, on my iPhone, my iPad. And so they all cook. I mean, they're just really great girls.
we love
Well, I have a host of granddaughters, and most of them have gone to college and finished, and some of them have their master's and perhaps a PhD, but I'm just so proud of them. Some of them are not, most of them are not married, but I have several that are, and I'm very proud of them and their families. And for instance, Charisma, my granddaughter, she and her husband, they're doing such a wonderful job as a young married couple. And they have plans and dreams that they're working towards. And that's the main thing to have, to get together and make plans for the future and work towards that, you know. So I'm very proud of my granddaughters.
That's wonderful. What about Nana? I know your granddaughter. Of course, I know all the granddaughters, but I know And what have you learned from Destiny about the way that she sort of approaches life and love?
Well, I know she approaches it. Um, I don't know how to put it in words, but she's a very strong woman. Everything she does, she just goes full force. And what I learned that from her, and as you said in the beginning, in her love life, she does date, but when it's over, she walks away. She doesn't, feel bad or let the guy make her feel bad. So that's what I've learned from her. But yes, I am very proud of Destiny, and I don't know what I'd do without her. I love her so much, and she makes me proud in everything. She comes over, and I try to get her to stay longer, but no, she wants to go home, and I can understand that. But I miss her so much, and she's here. As you know, she's the technical director here for me. So I appreciate all that she does. And I do try to monopolize her time when she's with me, which is not right, but I let her spend some time with her grandfather and her mother. I do share, but I'm so proud of her. I can't talk more about her than what I have, and she graduated from college, and I mean, she did better than me because when she graduated, she was magna cum laude. So I'm like, wow, she outdid me. So yes, I'm very proud of her.
Well, I like the fact that my granddaughters are so independent. I mean, they are extremely independent. They make really great decisions, and I just like the fact that they are not afraid of anything. They speak their mind. They're well educated. Some of them are gone back to school, and I just love the fact that they're so independent. That they're able to make really great decisions.
Absolutely.
Great.
Grandma Harris.
Yes. Here I am. We lost the battery power on the computer, but Jessica then hooked me up with her cell phone. They can do it. I've learned from my granddaughters that I should never try anything as far as technology is concerned, that if I don't have them, then I am just one of those people who has an old antiquated cell phone, and I use it only for making a call to say I'm coming home or receiving a call from my husband or my granddaughters. That's it. But anyway, I'm gonna say I learned from Jessica and Jayla that you don't have to necessarily try to teach them certain things, but you set an example for things. And I learned that they follow the example. Both of them, they're 24 years old now. Can you imagine that? But anyway, both of them started working while they were in high school. And they continued to work, sometimes on one job and then moving to another job, but they always had a good work ethic. And I certainly love that about them.
Important.
The other thing that I love about them is that they have managed to hold their own as 24-year-olds. They've had boyfriends. Some of them I've met, some of them I haven't met, but I think they make good choices based upon whatever it is that's inside of them in terms of dealing with the opposite sex. And so I've learned that I can trust them. I can trust them. As a matter of fact, this one, and I'm not going to call her name, but she doesn't seem upset at all when a relationship goes kerplunk.
Goes south, huh?
Yes, that too.
That's good.
Doesn't seem to
Very
bother her.
good.
And guess what? She's right on developing another one, you know, to see how that was going to work out. And if it doesn't, oh well. And I can appreciate that. This other one, though, and the other one. I don't know. I don't know about her. I think she does fall in love easily. She may, but no, they're laughing now. I wish you could see them over here on the other side. But at any rate, I try not to get too involved in their love life.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
Very
There's one thing more that I wanted to say about my grandchildren. My granddaughters took after their parents. They followed what I taught my girls. Always get a good education. They always get a good education. And they have followed that. The girls that I have, my granddaughters, all are getting good educations.
Yes.
That will put them where they don't have to depend on anyone. They can do it themselves, and that's all that matters.
That's important.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So do I.
And so do
Education
I.
is the first thing. Get that.
Yes.
That's right.
Exactly.
I thank you for that. And I thank you for that, Gia, that you said that, because I want to say that, you know, for some of us, and I think we've had this beautiful conversation today, marriage may or may not happen for some of us.
Absolutely.
But it's good to know that we have our grandparents' support and that our grandmothers support us, and that we have what we need, so that if someone comes or if someone doesn't come, we're going to be okay. And I think that that is a beautiful thing. And before we close out, because we've had this amazing, first of all, I want to thank you. And I want to make a couple of acknowledgements. I want to thank Henrique Lazari, who is our producer, who you all out there cannot see. He has been doing the tech behind the scenes. I want to thank our co-producer, Alexis Hester. I want to thank my mom, my dad, and all of the grandmothers and their granddaughters for doing the tech and making this possible for you all to be here. I really am just grateful for each of you. Oh goodness, I've got my list here. And I want to thank Nicole O'Connell and JC Powers for helping me with this webinar setup. Now, before we leave, this is a little fun thing. I want to get, and I want to thank all of you out there for tuning in. Thank you so much. The attendance to this event has blown me out of the water, and I've tried not to look at how many people have tuned in this whole time. It has been absolutely thrilling, and thank you for your questions. I hope that we were able to answer them. Whatever we didn't answer, stay tuned and follow us on our pages, because we will get to it. But before we close out, I want to ask each grandmother, what is your favorite love song? Everybody has to answer this. So I don't know who wants to go first.
I'll go first. I know that one. Oh, it's Teddy Pendergrass, Turn Off the Lights.
Mine is Whitney Houston, I'll Always Love You.
Oh, that's
I love all of those, but I think Al Green, Love and Happiness.
Yes.
I like All Is Fair in Love.
Yes.
What about BB King? You made your move too soon.
Okay.
And I play it over and over and over again. Google is sick of me. Every time I turn Google on, I say, Google, play All Is Fair in Love.
What about you, Gia? Any love songs?
I like all of Al Green's songs, every one of them. So I can't pick. hard to pick because I like all of this.
I liked all of Sam Cooke songs. I was a Sam Cooke fan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sam Cooke was cute too.
Yeah.
And he could really sing, and I didn't miss. I had him on all day and all night.
Yeah. They used to play. You should hear my kids, my daughter, they used to leave in the morning and I would have a record on the record player. And when they come back at lunchtime, I would still be playing that record. And when they come back at 3, they say, Mom! Turn it off. And I still do that.
That is hilarious. Well, grandmothers, I want to thank you. I really do. This has been beautiful. The project was beautiful. For those of you out there, if did these women not steal your hearts? We have just enjoyed ourselves. This time has flown by because every single one of them has just been incredible. And so if you want to see more, go to YouTube. You're going to search the Grandmother Project series. We've got 9 episodes of them with their granddaughters. And it is, and I'm not just saying it because it's something that I put together. I'm saying it because it is beautiful and it will bless you. So be sure to check that out. Follow us on Instagram right now, the Grandmother Project. Follow us on Facebook, the Grandmother Project. Oh, we got it in the link. That's our YouTube. Be sure to subscribe because when you subscribe, that helps us be more visible. All right. And so is there any closing remarks from our grandmothers that you all want to say before we close out?
Well, I just say, I wish everybody well. I hope everybody got their first COVID shot and getting ready to go for the second one. So stay healthy, stay safe.
And I enjoyed you ladies. And once this is all over, maybe we can gather in person. I would love that. Just all of us together somewhere. I'm sure Melanie can work that out.
Yeah.
I want to say, the more
I
you
would get on
give,
that.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to say I have certainly enjoyed being on your program with these lovely ladies. And I do hope that we can meet in person.
Well, thank you, Melanie, for calling me. I forgot about it. I thought it was tomorrow. And she called me out. And then all of a sudden I couldn't remember. Is this Sunday or Monday?
Forget.
okay, Melanie.
Well, thank you. It's been really great.
Thank
you. Did a good job.
And
You
I
guys
want to say-
take care.
I want to
You
say
guys
thank
take
you
care.
also.
Melanie,
Yes.
one thing I want to say to everyone listening, the more you give, the more you receive. So think about that. The more you give, the more you receive. And that is true.
That's
true.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that is so true. Now is there anybody else? I don't want to cut off anybody before we leave.
I just wanted to say thank you to you and the technical director and the other grandmothers. It's so good seeing you again. And I got my COVID shot as well. I took my husband along with me and he got his.
Oh, sorry.
So you guys take care, stay safe, and I hope that we can get together again soon. And keep us in mind for phase 3, Melanie. We'll be around.
Right. Right.
I'm going to stay in touch.
Everybody be blessed.
Make sure.
Be blessed, yes.
People out there that are watching, we're going to put up a screen. And this screen is going to give you all of the information you need to follow us. We thank you for spending this time with us. We hope that you enjoyed the very first episode of Pearls and Pocketbooks. To my grandmothers, I'm sending all my love to you, and I pray for you all every day, every single one of you. And we're going to continue to be blessed. It's such a blessing that we've all been healthy during this time. And thank you so much. I will see you all next time. Thank you for checking out Pearls and Pocketbooks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Love you all. Love you all.
Bye.
Oh, baby.
You have been quiet. Huh?
totally scared, no.